Hey everybody, it's another fine day here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm glad to see it. It's a good Monday, the start of a great week, and I do hope everyone is well and are out and about getting some of this fresh air, sunshine, and putting in some exercise. I'm excited this week. I had a good strong week last week, getting back on my bike, and I feel pretty strong today. Not as sore as I thought I would have been. Excuse me. I had some pretty good rest days on my 2 days off. Got in some really good Morocco food and some good physical food also. And I did have a thought I wanted to share today. And it is, you ain't really about that life. When the Most High put this in my spirit, it kind of took me back for a second. Oh, that's wet. It kind of took me back for a second because I was surprised to hear that thought coming from the Most High. But as I also learned over the years with him, he'll use the language that identifies with us and the people we're talking to the most. But he said, you ain't about that life. And as I began to listen in my spirit to what he was talking about, dog, I never seen this before. Some really nasty looking mushrooms. I guess at the end of their life, they had a pretty bright orange color. But that really, like I said, it caught me by surprise, but at the same time, it put emphasis on the thought he was giving me. That our people, his children, are in and living a lifestyle that they're really not to be a part of. Basically, they're not about it. And he don't want them about that kind of life. He says we are a royal people. And I was listening to my Moray over the weekend, and he was saying when you're a distinctive people, a people of priesthood and a royalty, you're called to be set apart, and you're called to a certain level of expectancy, not only from the Most High, but from other peoples, or nations, I should say. But when you're set apart and set aside for a reason. And this reason is to be the salt, the light, and the city. The salt of the earth, the light of the world, and the city that sits on the hill that cannot and shall not be hid. But we're to light the way to the other nations, to our family members, and to all that will listen and all that don't want to listen. And that's a great word today. You ain't about that life. You really ain't about that life. That mess you're doing, that ain't you. And you know it's not you. You're tired of it. You won't change. Every time you say, I ain't doing this no more, you say, Most High, if you get me out of this situation, I'll never do it again. Leaning over that toilet stool, throwing up drugs and alcohol you promise yourself you won't gonna put in your system anymore. Eating that food that's killing you. Like that swine and that shellfish. See, the Most High lays out rules for us, and then He expects us to follow. And see, I didn't know that the rules that the Most High laid out for us wasn't really for the other nations. It is in a sense, but they're not going to be judged for what they do or don't do, right or wrong as far as the laws. But we are, as being His people, we're called to be the example of what He wants the whole world to do. But I think my main point today is you're not about that life. You're not about keep what you're steady doing over and over that's making you miserable. You're not free. You have no shalom. You have no peace. So what you gonna do about it? Where it says call on the Most High, it says humble yourselves under the hand of the Most High, and He will lift you up in due season. And see, that's what time it is right now. This is due season for us to humble ourselves under His mighty hand, that He may lift us up from the mess we're in, the hurt, the pain. And trust me, see, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. See, I done been there, been through it, down through it. The Most High has allowed me to go all the way down through it. And most of it, as I was speaking to one of my minister friends, Minister Futrell over the weekend, he was like, Brother Holloway, 9 times out of 10 things that I go through is because of my own warriors and what I didn't do when the Most High told me to do. And I thought about that and I said, you're right. He's allowed a whole lot of stuff in our lives simply because we didn't act when He say act, or we didn't sit down when He said sit down and shut up. But let me get on this walk. I'm gonna take my walk and then jump on my bike. I may come back with another word or thought, I should say. But if not, stay up, keep pushing forward in the right direction. Shalom. You ain't about that life, really. I also had another thought I wanted to share. And it's coming from a vision the Most High showed me. And a verse that He gave me from that vision. In the vision, I was out somewhere motivating people. It's almost as if I was like out here at the park, but I was motivating people to run, and it was groups at a time, and I would motivate one group, they'll take off running. They'll take off running all enthusiastic. Then I'll motivate the next group, they'll take off running. And then towards the end, I would say the end of the crowd, there was this one lady, well, it was like 2 or 3 people sitting down. But there was like this one lady that really surprised me. She had a can and was smoking crack off the can. Yeah, that's what I said. And when I looked at her good, and the Most High was about, I was about to say something to the lady to ask her maybe why she's smoking and not running. And but the Most High wouldn't let me talk. And then he told me to look at her, what she had on. And just like the other people, she was dressed from the waist up, ready to run. She had on her sweats, her hat, her whole outfit up top. But then when I looked at her bottom, she had on a little mini skirt and some high heel shoes. I mean, really slutty looking. And I'm like, Most High, what's that all about? And he was basically like, remember when I shut your mouth and wouldn't let you share to her and the other groups, the other few people that were sitting down and left behind? Think about that scripture about casting your pearls to the swine. And I looked that up, and I started looking up more versions of the script and meanings of pearls, and got some quite interesting facts about pearls and casting them to swine. But the basic thought of that parable is you don't give good things to folks that's not going to appreciate them. And I thought that was so powerful. But pearls in itself are defined, or is symbolic of loyalty. I'll put it in the text, but it was quite amazing what I read by it. But the main thing that stood out was loyalty and experience. Wisdom through experience. That's what really stood out to me as I looked it up and was praying. So basically, we're not to share our experiences with everybody, because basically what they'll do is end up throwing it in your face and not appreciating it. Shalom. Yes, I really felt the need to come back and speak on that casting your pearls to swine comment I made, or thought I had about that script and the vision. I think the Most High was showing me that mostly because, as he was just telling me now, you can't share everything about yourself with everybody. You can't share everything about yourself with everybody. And I had to do a little purging off my sights, off that word, off that thought. Because I think even with our friendships these days, online, on social media, we have to be very careful. Especially with me sharing a lot of intimate details about my life and my testimony. A lot of my testimony is of no benefit to some people. And that's evident with our communication, I guess you would say. But I think a lot of times we just want friends and likes, just to seem like people like us and we have friends. But all of that's not necessary in the kingdom of the Most High. We're family. So, shalom.